All right, what's going on, YouTube? So, I just want to talk about how the East just runs through both the Celtics and the Bucks, and really just break down on how no other team can really just get past. No other team can just really get to the Western Conference Finals, let alone an NBA Finals, if they can't beat these two teams. These two teams are one of the biggest. These two teams made big offseason trades and free agent signings. I want to say out of all the teams in the East, as of what I know so far. So right now I do want to talk about the Celtics. Obviously that they have a super team with the likes of Drew Holiday, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown. You got Drew Holiday. I'll say this: he's still an elite defender at a point guard position, despite him getting smoked by Jimmy Butler last season. We can't let that. We can't let that be who we remember Drew Holiday for. He's still an elite defender that we still know him today. As far as I know, he hasn't really lost a step. A really good playmaker. I know that's something that my Clippers were really striving for, but I know we really couldn't trade anybody, for him. But, they got their guy that can really help Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown as far as, cutting to the basket or cutting to outside of the perimeter, picking pops to Kristaps Porzingis or even Al Horford, because as old as he is, he can still shoot the ball. Only downside I would really say about the Celtics is their bench isn't really not as good as last year. They lost Grant Williams to the Dallas Mavericks. Marcus Smart, I believe he got traded to the Memphis Grizzlies. I can't remember for who it was. It'll probably come back to me later. Blake Griffin, I believe he still hasn't been signed. Although according to 2 Raw, I believe that there's rumors that Brad Stevens wants him back on the team because of the lack of size. They lost the Time Lord Robert Williams, I was really shocked that they lost him. It was bad enough that they lost their core piece in Marcus Smart. Let's be honest. When you really think of the Celtics, at least on that team, one of the pieces one of the guys that you can really name off the top of your head, if it's not Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, is Marcus Smart. The guy is a tremendous defender. Really nothing that you can really say. One of the best defensive guards in this league. There's really nothing else that you can say. So for them to lose the Time Lord as well, I believe that they also lack a whole lot of defense as well. Because when you don't have your top 2 guys that are mainly defensive-minded players, I can't really see, energy of sort of just playing defense. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I believe Drew Holiday can help. Definitely. I definitely believe that he's a better defender than Marcus Smart. But, who else is there? Who else is a good defender that I can think of? Maybe Al Horford. But, unless he's not taking the, LeBron's juice, if you guys catch my drift, I really can't see him not having that energy to play defense. And of course, there's Kristaps Porzingis, which is another good pickup. Definitely good in size and all that. I believe they still have Derek White. They got rid of Malcolm Brogdon. I can't remember where he went. Is there anyone else I'm trying to think of that they really lost? The bench really just isn't all that good, I'll say, as last year. And I think that's what's really gonna kill them is the depth, you know? And not to mention you still have the second-year coach in Joe Mazzulla, second-year head coach, in Joe Mazzulla. I don't know, man. I want to say that this is one of the better teams that can really match up with the Bucks, but only time will tell, you know. Speaking of the Bucks, we really got to talk about the elephant in the room, which is them getting, of course, Damian Lillard. One of the bigger off-season, I would say the bigger off-season moves that happened this off-season, you know? So this team is offensive heavy as well, with the super team of both Damian Lillard now, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton. I mean, you can really just slide anybody to the shooting guard position, and I don't think there would be any downgrade to that team. I mean, maybe you can slide in anyone like who's that Cunningham guy? That isn't Cunningham still on the team? What's his name, man? You guys might know who I'm talking about. Cunningham, the white dude, man. You can slot him to the shooting guard position, and I think everything will really just be better, honestly. You know, they really didn't lose anything specific other than Grayson Allen, which I hate Grayson Allen, but that's a whole nother video that I can maybe talk about. But you know, Damian Lillard and the Giannis Antetokounmpo and Chris Middleton, this team is going to be a literal wrecking ball. You know what I mean? I mean, the amount of plays and, you know, chemistry that this team can have, it can be just out of this world type of creative, you know, thing that it's just it's mind-blowing how this team can be so creative on what they can do with those three sorry, I can't speak today. God damn. Just how offensive heavy this team is really going to be. And even though that Damian Lillard, Damian Lillard isn't going to be the Dame from Portland. He's definitely going to have to drop his numbers down, especially with playing with a guy like Giannis and Chris Middleton, you know? But as far as, you know, who's going to close out the games and who can close out the games, you definitely got Dame. As far as who can keep the lead going or keep extending a lead, you got guys like Chris Middleton and Dame and Giannis. And as far as stopping a lead, you can just put in Giannis Antetokounmpo to guard your best player, you know? Or at least guard your best non-perimeter player, you know? So I really don't see no weakness outside of just age out of this team, man, you know? This team is still, Dame is still, 32, 33? I mean, other than age, I really don't see no other negatives towards this team. Excuse me. Brooke Lopez, Robin Lopez. You got, I believe, Jay Crowder still on that team. Bobby Portis. Oh man, who is I can't pronounce Giannis's brother's name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Giannis's brother, number 43. Man, it's just, this team is really just good, even though that they don't have a good depth. Oh, and I think Cameron Payne is on that team as well. So yeah, I mean, this team is definitely gonna be a threat to. I mean, honestly, fuck the Eastern Conference, like, to anybody. You know, this can definitely. I mean, just imagine how this team can be. I mean, just in a 4-year span, unless nothing happens, I can definitely see them winning a good 2-3 championships in that 4-year span. And I only say two because, you know, you never know what's going to happen in the NBA. I still have the Phoenix Suns and the Bucks going to the NBA Finals. At least that's my expectation. Some people consider the Nuggets, which is a valid reason. This team is really just dominant on both sides of the floor, man. And I mean, to be honest, this might be one of those teams where it's like, this is one of those teams that could really break a whole lot of records, if that makes any sense. I mean, if this team really stays healthy and if they really want to do it, they could go after the Golden State Warriors record. I mean, I'm just saying that, you know. I mean, it might be a hot take. I know people might disagree with that, but I mean, the way this team looks, man, I mean, there really isn't. Is there really a possibility? I mean, Giannis is still in his prime. Dame is still, even though he's at like almost at the tail end of his prime, he can still give you buckets and still give you elite numbers. Chris Middleton can definitely help extend the lead, especially when he gets hot, even though he gets injury prone. But, you know, if he really stays healthy and really just avoids any critical injuries. And, of course, you got Brooke Lopez, one of the best actually, no, scratch that. If you have both Brooke Lopez and Robin Lopez, two of the best. Well, I would say Brooke Lopez is one of the better rim protective players. And Robin Lopez can be like that as well if he really could try hard. I mean, what can I say, man? The East really runs through both of those teams, mainly the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, is there really any team that's not the Boston Celtics that could really match up with the Bucks? I mean, I want to say my Chicago Bulls, but obviously I'm oh man, I definitely got to make a video on my Chicago Bulls, man. But you can maybe say the Cleveland Cavaliers. I would love to see a matchup with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen going against Giannis Antetokounmpo and Brooke Lopez. That matchup looks very interesting to me. I don't know if you guys are interested in that, but I definitely am. So Donovan Mitchell versus Damian Lillard. Oh man, if they have a TNT or ESPN scheduled game for that, I want to tune into that, man. I really do, just to see what the matchup would be like. I'm just curious, but yeah, these two teams, man, it's just it's the Bucks and Celtics conference, you know? Everybody is just playing in it. But that's all I got for today, man. Tell me what you guys think. I'm out.